The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, looking good, Billy Ray, feeling good, Lewis. Welcome to the Ring of Fire Solar Eclipse Show with Tim Bost will be our guest at the half hour. We start out looking at the FTSE and the German DAX. As you can see, those beautiful colorful patterns up there. The DAX is certainly in a downtrend, and the FTSE is still up near highs. Of course, they should with the President of the United States over there. Has to boost the economy, I would think. So that one's still going up, but is in possibly a topping formation. Folks, we'll have Tim as our guest, but one of the questions that I received 3 times over the last 24 hours is how to get involved with studying cycles. Well, the best way to start, in my opinion, is to get James Hurst's book, The Profit Magic of Stock Transaction Timing. You can buy a used copy on Amazon. There are a lot of them. There's just a great deal of them out there. The second thing that I would suggest you do would be to subscribe to Stan Harley's stock market letter. He does a great job with the cycles. He knows what he's talking about. And the third thing is go to the Foundation for the Study of Cycles website, and they have all kinds of free stuff that's available there to study cycles. Now, the problem is there's a lot of different things in cycles to study, and that's the real key. You're going to have to find out, what area you like. Some people like the astro part of it. Some people like the geophysical part, and some people like the mathematical part. So, basically, folks, I keep this thing as just as flat out simple as I possibly can. I look for simple time counts. I can count through 1 to 14 without too much trouble. Getting past 14, that's a whole different story. But when you see a 14-day cycle, then you got something, or a 7-day cycle, you got something to hang your hat on. But basically, I use the ratios and proportions of the Fibonacci summation sequence to get to that point. Of all the things that I've studied during my quest for cycles, by far the most difficult was the astrology part, because I was afraid of it, being from a Catholic background, 12 years of Jewish education, Jesuit education. And so that was supposed to be an instrument of the devil, but I worked through that part of it, but it still is difficult to understand. Now, there is a book that I'll tell you the story behind this book. Let me give you a little bit of background. I was in Las Vegas in 1985 for 2 months to set up a foreign exchange trading room for a gentleman, because he had some people there that wanted to trade foreign exchange. And he had a group of about 40 people, and so I set it up with Citibank. And, I made a couple $1,000 on the commission. And so I stayed there in Vegas for a couple of weeks while they got it set up, how to put the orders in, and all during that time. While I was there, the people knew who I was, basically. I don't know why. I didn't do anything in public domain ever since I left Drexel. I just finished a couple years at the Merck and 2 years at Commodity Corporation. And so the gentleman asked me about this book that I had, and I said, yeah, I do have that book. And he said, look, I've got a nice library. He said, maybe we could trade. So I went over to his house there in Vegas, and he says, I'll trade you any book I have here for a copy of that book that you have. So I looked up there, and then I saw a book that I hadn't seen before, and I reached up, and he said, oh, not that one, not that one. I said, well, you just told me I could have any one if we're going to trade. Are we going to do this deal or not? And he thought about it a little bit, and he said, okay, well, the book that I pulled out was The Profit of Stock, The Torque Analysis of Stock Market Cycles by William Garrett. Now, Garrett is an engineer just like James Hurst was. They both published a book by McGraw-Hill in 1972. They were both engineers by McGraw-Hill. One book cost $8.95. That was the James Hurst book. The other book cost $29.95, and that was by the And Mr. Z's asking whether I bought a seat or I bought a seat, Mr. Z, $109,000, an IMM seat. I sold it a couple years later for $129,000, thinking that it was really a good deal. It's now worth over $5 million. All right, let's move back to this story behind this. So the two books came out at the same time. The Hearst book was immediately popular because it was only $8.95, and a third grader could read it. The book that Mr. Garrett wrote was very, very technical. I mean, it had some really, really unusual stuff in it. And Garrett lived in Hawaii. He was from an Iowa farming family, and they left him a nice, substantial bond portfolio to take care of. He was able to retire in luxury over there on Ala Moana Boulevard. And Bryce Gilmore, I'll tell you the story about how this all happened. Anyway, I'm going to show you a picture just to stop it because I'm mumbling around here. If you'll take a look at this picture, this was page 89 out of the book, okay? Anyway, I saw this picture when I was in the office, and I said, I'm going to make a copy of this and send it to Bryce. So I faxed it, the old thermal fax, About 1:30 in the morning, I'm laying there in bed in San Luis Obispo, and the phone rings. And it's Mr. Gilmore, and he said, where did you get this page? And I said, well, it's from a book, Torque Analysis of Stock Market Cycles by Garrett. And he said, I got to have that book. And I said, well, I will get up in the morning, and I'll make a copy and ship it out to you. No, he said, I want it right now. I said, Bryce, it's 1:30 in the morning. I said, and he said, look, he said, I've known you for 4 years. He said, do you think that I would ask you for something like this if I didn't want it? And I said, Bryce, I'm getting dressed now. I'll have this thing to you in 2 hours. I took the book over to the Cal Poly Library, the printing part there, and I had a pass because of the stuff that they had helped me with in the past. And so I copied the whole book and sent it to him by thermal fax, okay? Within 20 hours after this whole thing, he got back to me and he said, I'm on my way to California. And I said, good, I'm glad to see you. He just left a few months ago. He came 2 or 3 months at a time. And I said, why are you coming? He says, we're going to meet Garrett's widow. And I said, how did you find her? He said, well, I read part of the book. I knew he lived in Hawaii. I called Hawaii. There was a Clarice Garrett living in Ala Moana Boulevard. And sure enough, it was her. And so she came, we paid her way over to California. And we spent about a day talking to her. And she told us about her husband, that he never did it. He was a broker for Walston and Company, which was Ross Perot's company. But he only had one account. That was his own family account. And he did no trading at all, but he studied the markets incessantly. Well, he died very early, about the age of 60, I believe. And he left all the books to the University of Hawaii. The problem was the University of Hawaii reported 4 or 5 months later that every single book that he had donated had been stolen out of the library. They were never returned. So all we had was this one book, and he was very enthralled with this particular diagram because it showed how to square a circle, and whatever that was, it was very, very exciting. So we went, when she came over, I paid her $5,000 for the rights to the book. She only sold 200 copies. I mean, hers sold thousands, but her book only sold 200 copies, and they destroyed well over 800 copies because nobody could buy them. So that's the story behind that. But we're going to take a little break here. 877-927-6648.
Markets can rise and fall like the tides. Subscribe to Basil Chapman's newsletter, The Opening Call, and you too can ride the wave. Basil Chapman is an authority in technical analysis. His Chapman Wave trading system has been helping traders identify trends and capitalize on momentum in the markets since 1984. TFNN invites you to test Basil's proprietary Chapman Wave trading methodology with a monthly subscription to the Opening Call newsletter for only $149. Your subscription to the Opening Call comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, as well as daily market updates on key indexes, stocks, and commodities. Ride the wave. Sign up for the opening call risk-free today.
What's separating you from the most successful men and women on Wall Street? That's right, information. Having all the information gives us the perspective we need to place the right trades at the right time. The TAS Profile Scanner is the premier market profile-based scanner. Powered by its acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner instantly filters over 2,500 plus global financial markets, such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. This powerful suite of tools leverages instant trade filtering and strategy formulation to show you emerging trades before they happen. For a limited time, you can save $100 off your first month by using the promo code UPGRADE, and you still get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Level the playing field with the TAS Profile Scanner, which you can find under the Services tab at TFNN.com. Sign up today.
Hey there, I'm Andy Arbertine with Tiger Precious Metals and Stones. Whether you're looking to buy and sell precious metals or trying to find the perfect diamond ring, I'm here to help. I have over 15 years of experience with diamonds and precious metals. You can call me directly at 727-329-8245, and I will personally answer any questions you have and help you find exactly what you're looking for. I will be your personal concierge in the metal and stone business. Give me a call today, 727-329-8245.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Okay, folks, someone asked me if I had to do it all over again, would I do the same thing? Knowing what I know now, I don't think so. The reason why is what I do now is so simple, and it works more than it fails, and it pays off more than it loses, and that's all you can ask for. That's basically it, boys and girls. I look at cycles. I try to find some of them, of course, but what it amounts to is, does the pattern match up to what the cycle is telling me? And when that happens, then I say, yep, then I've got a chance to look at it. But I keep it just as simple as possible. The study of cycles, folks, is very, very long, deep tunnel. And if you get into the astrology part of it, it's even longer and deeper. But boy, there's some guys that do a great job. And, we have one of them as our guest today, Tim Bost. We had one on yesterday, Stan Harley. These guys, they figured out. All I do, folks, I'm pattern recognition swing trader. That's what I do. And I look at simple things. Here's a perfect example. The trade that we were looking at for today, I'll bring this up here. This happens to be the gold market. And we said it looked like we were going to make a Gartley there at the 61% retracement at 1875. And the low was 1872, and it rallied $26. And we're still trading up around the 1890. What we did now was to raise your stop to, 1885 to lock in $1,000 profit. You'll notice now as you look at this pattern, and you can interpret this, several different ways, because gold is still down on the day actually, but look at it from the 8th, 9th, and 10th. That's a 1-3-5 pattern. It's actually perfectly symmetrical there at 1896. Now, I have to make a decision. Do I take profits at 1896, or do I assume this is a large ABCD that's going to take us into new high ground above 1919? Well, given the strength, the way this thing came out of here, I think we got to give it a little bit of respect and see if it's going to do it. Go back on the 4th of June and look what happened. We had that move. It went from 1856 straight up to 1900. Then it backed off, $15, and then went up to make the 78% level. So with that wide-ranging bar, I have to give it respect. That has nothing to do with cycles or anything like that. That's just simple common sense theory. I don't want this thing to go to a loss. If it does, then I would feel very badly, and I don't like feeling badly, and that's why I look at it that way. So I hope that's it. So the other one we're going to take a quick look here is at the copper, because I see they're chatting about it here in the room, because that's a very interesting one here. Because, folks, let's just get up here. There's two of them. Hold, I want to put in the where's the second one? Shut the front door. Looks like it's going to have to be the second one is right here. Here we go. Here's copper. Copper's not acting very bullish, folks. We just made new highs in the stock market. And look where we were. The high was back on May the 9th on copper at 488. We've been down to 444. We rallied up to 450. Anything below 444 now, folks, after that 382 retracement hit yesterday at 456 would be extremely bearish. And anything above 457 would say that this market has got legs and it could go a whole lot higher. So copper is at the moment of truth right now. It's making three lower highs from the 8th, 9th, and 10th, much like we're looking at in the gold market. But that's a decision that you have to make on a daily basis to see whether you want to be on the short side or the long side. Short-term trend on this is down since May the 9th. Long-term trend, this thing has been up since they built the pyramids back in, I forget what year it is. It's a pretty big, long time ago anyway. All right, now, question arises here about Bitcoin. I'll bring this up again. I'm only bringing these up to show you the charts. We made some serious combinations of 61% retracements here. You'll know that we hit it 3 times in a row at 31,000. And now we've rallied all the way up to 37,000. We rallied over 11% in 2 days. That tells you that this is a very, very strong bottom. And should we not get below this, folks, the high on this ABCD structure takes you to 75,000 in Bitcoin. And remember, when we were trading at 20,000, no one ever thought it would go to 3,100 and then to 65,000. Well, we went through that yesterday, the fact that these things go up and down with a great deal of ease most times. So those are just a few things that you got to remember. The cycle part, folks, is just very, very difficult. As I've gotten older, I'm not lazy. I just like to I rest more than I don't study. Folks, I got 3,000 books here. You know, I mean, I've done a lot of studying on this stuff, and I had 21 with me for 55 of those years, and you know, he reads incessantly. So there's no holy grail that we've ever found. It basically comes out: do you have an advantage of going long or short? That's the bottom line. And are you willing to take the risk of taking that long or short? That's all it's really about. There's nothing anyway, but you know, trading is simple, but it's not easy. And the reason why is because whenever you're dealing with money, you're dealing with emotionalism, right? And so you've got to be able to protect yourself as you go through some of these things, looking at what these patterns are doing. If you remember, we talked about this pattern here the other day, and we're just going to see if it happens or not, but there's the pattern we were looking at, was the TLT. Very simple ABCD pattern. That's all it was. Nothing more, nothing less. And as of yesterday, you'll see we went right up and nailed that thing right on the D point at 42 even. And of course, the market is down a little bit today. But whether that, you know, maybe turns and goes back up again. But right now, that is a completed pattern, and we should start to see higher interest rates once again, because of the last 4 weeks, we've seen small drops in the 10-year bond. So that's it. Okay. Let's get on to Apple. I brought that up. I didn't get a chance to talk about it. This is where we've been so far today. And folks, if you ever want to worry about a number, just think of 128 in the Apple, because you can see it. We've hit it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times in the last 6 weeks, the 382 retracement. We have not been able to close above 128.40. We got to 121.18. The high was 121. 01, I believe. 128.01, I believe. And last I checked, we were trading at 126.50. So that's the importance of that. You know, Tesla's getting a lot of playback. We had a nice move on the downside in Tesla. Then it turned around, and we'll be able to see where we are now, because we did get back above the 600. I don't know if we hit the 636, but we get above 636. That pretty much tells us we're heading to $691 to $700 in the Tesla, because you know, he had a 8-day up at the 382, 4 strong down days to the 78% level, and now you're in the process of doing a move in that thing to see what's going on. So I hope that helps. I don't know if that'll mean anything or not, but that's what we're watching as we go through. Tim Bost will be our guest here in just a few minutes. If you have any questions, 877-927-6648, and we'll be hopefully, I think the break is coming. Did I set the timing right? Maybe not. Well, if you do have any questions, folks, please call in. We'd be happy to answer them for you. And I hope I answer those questions about studying for cycles. But if you like the subject, go for it. It'll be a lifetime study, folks, because there's more than 2 lifetimes of stuff to read about it. There's just no question about it. It's got a lot of material. I'm at the point now where I just look at little things that work, and that's it. So we'll be right back.
Are you having fun trading the markets but having trouble finding like-minded individuals to discuss your trading and investment ideas with? Become an apex predator in the trading markets and join the Tiger's Den Trading Room only at TFNN.com. The Tiger's Den is an exclusive trading room where successful traders from around the world come to exchange trades and ideas. Join the den and surround yourself with the sharpest minds in the trading world. Subscribers to the Tiger's Den are also the first to have their questions answered live on air and can privately chat with our TFNN hosts live during their shows. Interact with other Tigers and Tigresses as they share trading ideas, news analysis, and discuss the market action all trading day. Subscribe to the Tiger's Den risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee and become part of the TFNN trading community. TFNN, educating investors.
You could be making money off the stock market. And if you're already making money off the stock market, you could be making a lot more. Check out TFNN and Tiger TV and get expert investing advice to give you the power to control your financial future. Go to TFNN.com and find the newsletter for you. Whether you're into trading gold, metals, futures, currencies, or options, you'll get advice and analysis to help you seriously get ahead. TFNN also features trading services with a 30-day money-back guarantee for new subscribers, as well as TFNN's Tiger Den Trading Room, trading software, and educational webinars for all trading levels. And make sure you check out Tiger TV for free on TFNN.com or TFNN's YouTube channel for live financial content from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern on market days. Stop watching on the sidelines while other people get rich and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks. I believe we have Tim Bost, Financial Cycles Weekly, on the line.
You do
Tim,
indeed. Welcome, welcome. How are you today?
Oh, living the dream, baby, on the green side of the grass. Tim,
All right.
I just made a big guffaw here on the program right before you came on. I talked about my journey through cycles and all the stuff that's out there and how complex the thing was, and I basically I shied people away from it. But can you tell the folks basically how you got to where you are with the cycles, because you've done a whole lot of stuff, and try to explain to them this is a 2 lifetime project.
At least, right?
Yeah, at least 2. So go ahead.
Good thing reincarnation is still working, right?
Amen to that, brother. Amen to that.
I tell you.
Tell us a little bit about your
it's
journey.
been an interesting journey for me. I first got intrigued by astrology through my study of English literature in my collegiate days, and began to work with it at a lot of levels. Found that there was a whole lot more there than meets the eye, and continued to study it on an avocational basis, and then got excited when I began to realize that it could be applied to things like the markets, as well as to understanding human nature. And so there's a strong connection between the cycles of nature and of the planets and the movements of the markets and human emotions. And all those seem to tie together in a lot of neat ways. And so that's what really got me started. And I had the good fortune to begin my studies before there was much computer power available. So I got to think deeply and make charts by hand and do all that kind of stuff. And then the movement to computerization and the big thing was actually getting access to data. That was quite a challenge back 4 or 5 decades ago when I first started doing all this stuff. But now it's easy to come by and lots of great tools to use, and so we continue to apply it and to profit from it.
Well, okay, but how many years has this been going on now? I know you're 32 now, so how long has it been?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I was about minus 12 when I started, right? No, actually, I began my astrological studies back in 1967, and then worked with it for a number of years, and then got real serious in the mid-'80s. Just prior to the big crash of '87, I was beginning to do my work with market studies with astrology, and have been at it ever since.
So you're talking 54 years. That's not so bad. So you started when you were 3, huh?
Exactly.
Wow, that's good. All right, tell us about this Ring of Fire. This is a little scary when you read something like this, but tell us what it means.
We try to scare people as much as possible to catch.
Well, it's working. It's working.
So this is the Ring of Fire effect, and in fact, we've been looking at this for some time. We did a webinar earlier this week. Specifically, it was an advanced training webinar for our students here. You can access that and acquire a copy if you so desire at bit.ly/SUN610. That's Sun 610 for today. All that's lowercase. But what's going on with this is a fairly remarkable phenomenon. We call this an annular solar eclipse, and we get this Ring of Fire effect. And that is simply due to the fact that the moon gets in the way of our viewing the sun at the time of a solar eclipse. Every solar eclipse is a new moon. Not all new moons are solar eclipses, but when we get that exact lineup of the sun and the moon, then we get this eclipse effect. Well, this just happens to be at that part of the lunar cycle in which we have the moon near apogee. That occurred a few days prior to the eclipse, which means it's a little farther away from Earth in its elliptical orbit around the Earth. Ergo, we have a smaller size moon from our viewpoint at least, blotting out the sun, and it doesn't quite do the job of covering it. So it covers the center disk of the sun, and we get this cool effect of the flame shooting out from the outside ring, hence the Ring of Fire effect. And it's a phenomenon that occurs not with all eclipses, but we have a series of eclipses that features a lot of these, and this happens to be one of that series. We call this the Saros series. The eclipses repeat in an 18-year cycle with that, and that cycle began back in the year 1624, and there are 80 eclipses in the series. This is, I think, number 22 or 23, so we're about not even a fourth of the way through, or roughly a fourth of the way through that entire series is going to go on for a few more centuries here before it ends. But that Ceres series eclipse, this one was at 14 degrees of Gemini, is a pretty important factor in understanding this dynamic. Some eclipse series include total eclipses. This one does not. There are a series of partial eclipses that began it, and then back 18 years ago was the first annular or ring of fire eclipse in the series, and this is the second one here. So it gives us something to put it into perspective that way. The main thing to understand, though, is that even though this was an event that occurred earlier today, and if you happen to be in Canada or in the northern parts of the U.S., you might have had an opportunity to see it right around sunrise. It was fairly short-lived. It lasted for 3 minutes and 51 seconds of viewing time. So if you blinked, you missed it, but there it was. And if you were in the right place to see it in the sky, for most of the world, it was not visible at that particular time with the naked eye. But the impact goes far beyond what we're seeing here today. We expect the impact to be long-lasting, and in fact, we're going to look for it to hang out at least through December. It may go on into the first months of next year as well. That's because we have these very, very intense celestial events, and it kind of sets up a resonant dynamic in the markets, and then subsequent things respond to that active point in the zodiac and that active configuration in the market dynamics as well. So essentially, there's lots of potential here based on our studies for negative stress, specifically in the area of economics and geopolitics as well. So we don't expect things to calm down terribly there. Of course, we've got good signs of economic recovery in some parts of the world, but also massive challenges with raw materials and supply chains, and of course the recent surge in ransomware and cyber attacks. All that complicates the situation, and all that shows up in our eclipse studies as well. So it's that's something we need to take into account in a number of ways over the next 6 months or so, at least, in understanding the full impact of this eclipse. But on a shorter term, we may see some bullish action coming into the equities markets as a part of this as well. Now, I mentioned the fact that we have this Ceres series number 147. The last eclipse in that series was back in 2003. And so we're showing the chart here for the S&P from that year. I think it's about 10 months of the year there that we have the price bars for. And what I've done here is colored in kind of that magenta pinkish color the price bars for the S&P that coincided or corresponded with the time that the sun was in Gemini.
And we're going to take a break here, folks. We'll be right back with Tim Boss, Financial Cycles Weekly, and he's going to be having a advanced trading webinar coming up, and I will post that in so you folks can take a look at it. We'll be right back.
Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
We're back, folks, speaking with Tim Boss, Financial Cycles Weekly. And Tim, you have a webinar coming up. It's an advanced training webinar. You want to tell the folks how they can reach you?
Yeah, this was a webinar we presented earlier this week. We do have the recording of that available right now.
Okay,
so that's kind of instant access there. And if you go to the bit.ly, let's see if we can pull this back up, that bit.ly/SUN610, Sun 610 for today's date, actually. All that's lowercase. That will take you to the page that explains how you can get access to that. There was a tuition charge for it. We do have that at a deep discount to encourage people to take a look at that information. So that's the way to get that for the best deal on getting access to that. Let's put it that way. So we encourage folks to take a look at that because we spent almost 2 hours together going into a great deal of detail about the impact of the eclipse, what to expect when, and all the various areas of influence with it. So what we've been looking at here is this Ring of Fire eclipse, the last one we had in this series back in 2003, the end of May. And we can look at that configuration there. We saw that it was in the midst of a run-up and basically accelerated the increase in prices. The S&P was up by about 5% in 12 trading days. Then it went into a period of congestion for about the next 30 days before breaking out from that. What's interesting here is that darker price bar, the red bar that we're pointing to with that, actually defined a support zone for the lows that came in early July and early August as a part of that particular congestion period. So eclipses are effective in a lot of ways. There are lots of things we can do with studying them. But in putting this into context, the question is, will we see the same kind of thing with the S&P? Now, what we are looking at with the S&P is this Mars-Pluto interaction in the fifth harmonic, based largely on the fact that there was a conjunction of Mars and Pluto back near the end of March of last year. We saw that sharp downturn as soon as the effects of the coronavirus became evident and things started to shut down. So there was a precipitous drop in the S&P starting in early February. It hit a bottom exactly on the date of the Mars-Pluto conjunction, and we've got that graph on our chart there. At that point, S&P was trading at 2237, and it has been in a Mars channel ever since. We're looking for, coming up here at the end of July, by a biquintile, a 144-degree angle between Mars and Pluto. We believe that that might help define a resistance zone for the S&P. We'll see how it works out, but it's a way of projecting, along with this eclipse energy, a potential price point with that. So we kind of mix and match as we see fit here. So that's our outlook from that perspective. Anyway. And again, what we're trying to do here is show the impact of the planetary energies on the movements of the markets. It's not 100% predictive, but when we find these points of coincidence, it gives us something to work with, and we can base our estimates, our speculation on that basis.
Tim, what is a Mars biquintile Pluto on July 31st, 2021? What is that?
Right. That is we're looking at things in the fifth harmonic. And so if we divide a circle of 360 degrees by 5, we get 72-degree increments. And so we have an angle that we call the quintile. That's a 72-degree angle between two planets. And in this case, it's a biquintile. So we double the 72 and we get 144 degrees between the two. And we're looking at that as a significant crossing point. These horizontal lines represent the movement of Pluto. The more diagonal red lines are Mars. And you can see the channel there defined by those red lines that the S&P has been trading in. It's a fifth harmonic Mars channel that has pretty much confined the price movement along the way. And so we're looking for the top, the potential top there, and perhaps a breakout to the downside from that channel, kicking in around the end of July to coincide with that Mars-Pluto biquintile. So it's a little speculative, but it gives us a basis then for determining, and we put in that date there. Actually, for that date, we'd be looking at a price level of about 43.90, 43.90, 91, something like that. If it does hit that particular trading point. So we'll see how it works out there, but it gives us something to forecast with anyway.
I see you have a book with Bill Meridian and Maria and Christine Skinner and Wendy Stacy. Do you want to tell us about this book? This is Bitcoin Astrology?
This is our book on Bitcoin astrology. We have a lot of fun working with Bitcoin. We pooled resources there, and I did the editing and kind of commandeered the project to encourage some other financial astrologers to take a look at Bitcoin. And so this is a collection of essays, articles on Bitcoin. And our good friend Bill Meridian contributed to that, along with Christine Skinner. Gonzalo Moreira is an interesting fellow, a very, very talented technical analyst from Barcelona, one of my students who had been working with Bitcoin analysis. So he contributed a chapter, as well as Wendy Stacy from the UK. So what we've got is some minds coming together with different opinions about how to use astrology to interpret Bitcoin. And it also includes a real resource guide there in terms of the astrological charts for the first decade or so of the history of Bitcoin, trying to provide some timing factors there as well. And we did some back testing of solar cycles with Bitcoin, and some of those are still holding up fairly well. This book was published a couple years ago. It's almost time for an update. The problem with Bitcoin is you got to update things every 15 minutes, or you're out of date. Right? But what we found here is in looking at this and studying these planetary dynamics with Bitcoin is the trans-Neptunian factor Chronos continues to define support and resistance in a significant way with Bitcoin prices. And here we've got the fourth harmonic projections of Chronos. And so and these are daily price bars, actually, or actually just the daily closing prices in a line chart. And so this doesn't look like quite the volatility that we see on a day-to-day basis with most Bitcoin charts, but we find this useful to give us a longer range perspective there. And this zone that we have defined as a Chronos support zone, we were talking about this 3 or 4 weeks ago, last time we got together, at 37,230. Has proven to be very, very potent. The last few trading days, of course, we saw an acceleration of the pullback in prices. Bitcoin traded down in the 32,000 range briefly, and then over the last 24 hours has seen a strong rebound. I checked the price about an hour and a half ago, and it was at that point that it was at 37,190. Close enough to that 37,230, I think, to say that this again is hitting that critical area, which can act as resistance and/or support. We're still listing it as support because we believe that this has been an anomaly in terms of the dip that we've seen over the last couple of days, and we're looking for a rebound off that price level. If you're taking long-term positions in Bitcoin, then this is definitely a continuation of the buying opportunity, and we have been personally acquiring it at these price levels because we believe for the long term that the fundamentals support.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Markets can rise and fall like the tides. Subscribe to Basil Chapman's newsletter, The Opening Call, and you too can ride the wave. Basil Chapman is an authority in technical analysis. His Chapman Wave trading system has been helping traders identify trends and capitalize on momentum in the markets since 1984. TFNN invites you to test Basil's proprietary Chapman Wave trading methodology with a monthly subscription to the Opening Call newsletter for only $149. Your subscription to the Opening Call comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, as well as daily market updates on key indexes, stocks, and commodities. Ride the wave. Sign up for the Opening Call risk-free today.
Introducing Primal Edge.
Today, it's even more important to take a supplement that complements your health. Primal Edge is specifically formulated to boost your immune system and help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Our early ancestors found all their nutritional requirements in the wild environment. But today, our food sources don't contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that we need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated humic and fulvic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, without them, life cannot exist.
That's right, Ellen. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge. Just $89 exclusively at TFNN.com.
Hi, folks. This is Steve Rhodes. Stay tuned for another great hour of the Trader's Edge, heard here at TFNN.com.
We're back with Tim Boss. Tim, how will the folks reach you if they'd like to contact you?
Best way is to connect with me directly via email, tim@timbost.com. We've also got a special link here that will get you connected with all the free stuff that we have available. Go to bit.ly/TimLarryP. Capital T, capital L, capital P, everything else is lowercase, and we have that set up specifically for viewers of this show to get you connected with all of the stuff that they have going on an ongoing basis. We do periodic free webinars and have other things available as well. So if you're interested in connecting with us, use that initially, and then feel free to send me an email, tim@timbost.com. and we'll be glad to communicate one-on-one.
Tim, we have a question from one of our listeners. Mr. ZM is asking a question. What about Treasury bonds? Did you follow that, and do you have an opinion?
We do look at it occasionally. At this point, I don't have a current analysis on that, so I'll pass on that one.
Okay, that's fair enough. I want to thank you for being on. And since we're on the air, when would you like to be on again?
Well, then, let's do it about 2 or 3 weeks, something like that here. What is this, the 10th?
How about the 30th?
The 30th looks good. That's a Wednesday.
Yes, sir.
That could work. Yes. Okay.
All right. We'll book you in, and we'll be looking forward to hearing from you. And you've always great stuff. And thank you for joining us today. We really do enjoy us. And have a wonderful Ring of Fire day.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks
Thank you, Larry. Have a great day.
You bet. Tim Boss, Financial Cycles Weekly, folks. Make sure that you do everything in your power to help your neighbors that need help. There's a 50-50 chance I might not be on the show tomorrow. I won't know till later today. If I can work it out, I will be. Otherwise, I've got to do some things for our neighbors here, and there's no way I can get around it. But if I can, I will certainly get around it. Otherwise, I'll see you on Monday, but hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. It's 50-50 right now, but I won't know until later. Live every day in an attitude of gratitude, and may God bless.